And you don't go over the hurdle. Instead, you go in a different direction, and you thrash. And you try this one, 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 and hopefully one of them works, and you accidentally get something successful, and you kill the ones that didn't, and you move on. The point of strategy is to say, no, we're going to overcome that hurdle. Apple went through huge problems. They had unbelievable aspirations, but they knew what they were going to do, and they kept at it until they finished it. That's the value of it. It's not so much getting the answer, it's creating that motivating, compelling factor that drives you forward. So when we were clear, this is what we have to do, we then said, all right, we've got to build strategic alliances. We can't possibly cover this ourselves. And there was a lot of discussion of, well, doesn't that cannibalize and doesn't dilute? Yes, probably. I don't really know, but I just know it's the right strategy. I know it's the right thing to do for the industry, and the rest of it will sort out. And from that strategy came products. Well, then we're going to have metrics across the space, and we have to have partnerships in that space. But once we did all that, and we said, okay, well, now we've got education and training, and we're covering this entire space, this is very relevant to marketing services businesses, to pure events businesses, to business information businesses. It's very relevant to people who aren't in my current audience, because my current audience needs it, but now I have something that's relevant to the rest. So my audience grew not because we started with, how do we make more money? How do I replace existing revenues with new revenues? Because if that's our strategy, why don't we just build widgets? It was a very driven by what is our purpose and reason for existence that drove us to be able to identify additional audiences. And then that circle continues. So why even waste time thinking through this? Because as I said before, I genuinely, honestly believe this is a great time to be in B2B. I'm going to channel Tom Kemp for a moment and Patton-esque stomp. This is a great time to be in B2B. It absolutely is. The economy is stabilizing, knock on wood. Most of the restructuring is behind us for now. I know we've kicked some cans down the road, but for now. But more important, technologies are stabilizing. Standards are emerging, costs are dropping. This is no longer a suite of capabilities that only the Googles of the world or only the Apples of the world can afford to do. 6 years ago, if you wanted to get social media expertise, we didn't even know what search engine optimization and SMO was, and we didn't know how to get the talent. Now you can get an intern with a social media degree for free. 6 years ago, it was hard to find any vendors that can help. Now we have too many vendors, and we have to rationalize which ones do we really want to work with. That's an opportunity. There are business models that are proven, and importantly, marketers still need solutions to reach our audiences. That chaos and confusion that the pig farmer's dealing with, the marketer's got the same problem. We're saying, well, they can now go direct. But I guarantee you the marketer conversation is, man, I'm doing this and this and this. These are not my core strengths. The reason I believe marketers are doing it is because they don't see anyone that can help them. I don't believe it's entirely just disintermediation. It's, I'll do it myself. And it's the natural evolution that we always go through at this intersection of technology meets media and causes chaos. It's like great new opportunities. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to launch them. Next thing you know, in music, we're doing a whole bunch of digital supply chain stuff that's costing a huge amount of money. And we suddenly think this isn't our core. Why are we doing this? Because we just spent $25 million building it. Well, okay, now we need to variabilize that cost base. We need to get out of this. It's not the business that we're in. It's a natural evolution. I think marketers are going through the same thing. Agencies have not yet filled that gap. And as we said before, I think audiences need structure and voice of record more than ever before. It's the age of community, which has always been B2B's strength. As Jack said before, we have an explosion of capabilities of creating community, and people are naturally gravitating toward it. And that is what B2B has always been about. It's always been about market intelligence. So, takeaways. I would posit that we're not in the exhibition business. We're not in the media business. We're not in the business information business. We're in, my words for now, the audience intelligence and access business. We're in fundamentally enabling and being a part of that community, building the knowledge about it, and then monetizing that, both upstream and downstream. So I'll give you my thoughts on 5 takeaways from this way of thinking. Number 1, let nerd passion drive your culture. All started off. I'm Clark Pettit. I am a nerd. You should all follow along. if you're in B2B, you got to have some nerdy side. I mean, come on. We've got Plastics Modeling Engineering magazine. We've got African bee farmers. I mean, this is nerdy stuff. Long-form content to us is like 27 pages on the latest trucking laws. This is great. Let that be your culture. Part of the why is giving people want to join something that has purpose and meaning. The purpose and meaning is we're all about firemen. We're going to have everything having to do with firemen. We're all about the legal. We're the center of the legal universe. Every lawyer, every judge, everybody in this universe is in this. And when you're trying to bring in social media people, you don't want the one who's saying, well, why should I join you rather than Google? You should join Google. You should join Facebook. You want the one that says, I don't want to be the biggest social media nerd on the planet. I kind of want to have a little business sense to it. I have other passions in life. Terrific. You have the right skills. You got a general attitude. Get involved with our passion. It's an organizing principle. Now, that brings up a problem of, okay, now I've got some new talents that I've only got one of, and how do I give them a career path? I think we have to solve that collectively. The Chief Digital Officer Council, the Digital Transformation Initiative is an example of that. But if we've all got social media experts and they need a network and the group of people that know all about social media so they can have their thing, then as a community, let's create that. On your own, through committees and councils, there are a number of ways to do that. But they can get that professional development, that detailed stuff, as a community. What they want to get from your industry is a passion and a reason to be there. Number two, you'll hear this throughout the rest of the couple of days, all roads lead to data. Anything we're doing with customers, we want to be doing because we're gathering, measuring, and turning that data into knowledge and into decision making. Any interaction that we're doing with a customer should be for the purposes of aggregating information about that. And we should be reaching out to the customers through every technique, and we're going to talk a lot about this in the next day and a half. But DITLOC, Day in the Life of the Customer, anything that is customer-centric, not just customer-friendly, but genuinely saying, I want to be in the center of your world and understand your entire range of what the issues are, because I could deliver any product that's within my realm of capability. And that allows us to be both predictive and reactive. Asking the question of, what is your issue? Not what do you need, not what media do you need or what data do you need, but why do you need it? What's the issue you're trying to figure out so that I can help you answer the question and realize that I can provide you something that you don't even know you need yet. Because as media companies, we have a broader view. Share the crap. My vision of the B2B company of the future is an almost virtual company. If it's not about that fundamental why, if it's not about the interaction with the audience and the most core critical things, then it ought to be something that you're trying to variabilize the cost of and not manage as possible. If it's not about an audience, if it's not about intelligence, if it's not about trying to connect that marketer to that audience, if it's about the underlying pieces, especially for small to medium-sized businesses, we should be sharing it. The competition is not in this room. I spent 10 years in music, and we spent the whole 10 years fighting with each other. I'm not going to let your empire beat my empire. I'm not going to share mine with yours. And we did that whole thing until we looked up and went, oh, crap, we're barely in the business anymore. We fought each other until we were gone. We are not the competition. The competition is out there. There are opportunities to share through, again, we can do it through committees and councils, you can do it on your own, but we can come up with standard things for data cleansing services and iPad apps and anything else that we need. If there's 17 companies in this room that need to do something, why don't we come up with one common one if it's not part of that core competitive distinction? Make fact-based decisions. It's pretty hard to look at a full range of all those opportunities and all those different business models and decide which one we're going to chase. So we are committed to giving you all the benchmarks and best practices, emerging standards, et cetera, that we possibly can. We're launching an initiative on the effectiveness of B2B across different channels, which you can use in discussion with marketers and we can use in discussion with government. But fundamentally, if you need data, if you need information, let us know what it is you need and we'll help gather it, because that combination of a compelling why and a compelling purpose plus facts to support it allows fast progress. And last one, the whole point of this, in my mind, is to unlock value. That clarity, that allows everybody to be rowing forward, everyone to generate product ideas, everyone at the next levels down to be clear on what your purpose is and to be part of that rowing forward, leads to faster progress and solutions. It's a motivator for retaining and attracting people. It's compelling. People want to be part of something that matters. Faster decisions, brand strategy is unlocked. And important point, market valuation. A lot of people challenge me on this. You know, look, some of us are going to be looking at an exit, period, end of story, and it's very simple. We're going to look at the revenues, we're going to look at the margins, we're going to look across the different lines, we're going to apply a multiple, we're going to come up with a number, and that's it. And the only variable in that whole thing is really what multiple we can argue. I would argue that there is any market valuation needs to look at what the viable future earning potential is. And if you have a clear and compelling why that says, here are 3 other audiences that we are not in that we can go to. Here are 4 other products that we can launch. Here's why we can launch them. Here's our proven track record and things. And here's the clarity that shows why that is absolutely a logical sequitur for us to go for. Gives you tremendous power to say, yes, this growth curve is achievable because this strategy, this clarity of why allows us to do it. This does unlock value. It's not just backwards numbers. It's absolutely about go forward. It helps identify products and markets and elements more effectively. Really important, less thrash. I'm going to take a guess that just about everybody in here is dealing with a massive amount of thrash. We are. We launched some things, they didn't work. It's the risk. It's the biggest risk. The thrash plus thinking that we in the room are the competitors is the biggest risk to forward progress. Having that clarity allows you to start to say, we're going to experiment with this and we're not going to experiment with that. Gives you better defensive market position. And again, the whole point is it unlocks forward movement if you can make this clear and compelling. And that is a customer-driven future. Just ask the pig. He was there the whole time.
That's all, folks.
Thank you.